This is Brass Check, and we do point out a lot of the dark and unsavory things going on in this world. So I thought for a little bit of relief, I'd shine a light on something really positive that happened in LA County, no less. LA County halts use of popular weed killer on county property. Apparently, this news outlet was too afraid to say Roundup in their headline. But anyway, let's go on and read this. This is exciting news. LA is a big county, as everybody knows. I think it's the second biggest city in the United States. So, and they used to spray a lot of Roundup. So the fact that this huge uh, organization is going to stop spraying Roundup is a very, very big deal. And it's also extremely encouraging because now no little rinky-dink county or village should have any complaint about banning this stuff because the big city did it. So let's read this. The Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors today directed all departments to stop using a popular weed killer until more is known about its potential health and environmental effects. Do we really need to know more about, about this stuff? My God. But hey, we'll take anything we can get. Supervisor Catherine Barger recommended the moratorium on glyphosate, a main ingredient in the herbicide brand Roundup. I am asking county departments to stop the use of this herbicide until public health and environmental professionals can determine if it's safe for further use in LA County and explore alternative methods for vegetation management, Barger said. Roundup was developed decades ago by Monsanto Company, now owned by Bayer, and is believed to be the most widely used herbicide worldwide. If you followed some of our previous stuff, you will know that Roundup is very dangerous. And the reason is it fools the body into thinking that glyphosate is glycine. And glycine is a primary building block of protein synthesis. And in order for you to live and remain healthy and comfortable, you don't want anybody messing with your protein synthesis. For instance, you're constantly regenerating skin, you're regenerating muscle, regenerating bone, even regenerating nerves, regenerating everything you can imagine, you're regenerating all the time. That's how we stay healthy. And that regeneration, a big part of that regeneration process is the protein synthesis process. And we want glycine to be one of those building blocks in our protein synthesis. We don't want glyphosate. Unfortunately, they are so close, apparently, chemically, that the body will grab glyphosate in place of glycine. This may be the explanation for diseases like autism. It may even be an explanation for diseases like Alzheimer's. And if that seems like an extreme position, there is an MIT scientist who believes that that is the case. It may also be contributing to many, many other chronic diseases. It's hard to tell what happened to America. We are now the chronic disease capital of the universe. There is no other country with higher rates of chronic disease than the United States. It could be our, sort of garbagey, junky food supply. Even third world countries don't eat as badly as we do, because at least to this point, they're too poor to afford some of the junk that we consume, though they are, unfortunately, with the help of big food, catching up to us. But one thing that is indisputable is we've got more glyphosate in our blood than any other country on earth. I believe the rate is 6 times what the rate is in Europe. So Roundup, they say, has been around for decades, and they are now saying in this article that it is the most popular herbicide in the world. Let me see when it first was invented here. Hang on a second. 1970s. Okay, it came out in 74, and it has been one of the best-selling herbicides since 1980, and it is now the most uh, best-selling herbicide in the world. Okay, let's get back to the good news here, because this is really, really good news. The motion, co-authored by Supervisor Sheila Kuhl, cites a growing body of scientific study of herbicide safety and the potential for negative impacts. And here's the study that she's talking about. In a 2015 study led by 17 experts from 11 countries, the World Health Organization's International Agency for Research in Cancer concluded that glyphosate should be classified as probably carcinogenic to humans. I laugh just because if I didn't laugh, I'd cry, Kuhl said. That's what I'm saying about laughing. That conclusion makes it imperative that we question any long-term use of this controversial herbicide, and that's exactly what this motion calls for. The World Health Organization finding has been disputed by Monsanto and other governmental agencies. Wait a minute, Monsanto's not a governmental agency. This is accidental English here. What the sentence meant to say is the World Health Organization has been disputed by Monsanto and other governmental, and other governmental agencies have stopped short of reaching the same conclusion. Actually, the truth got revealed there. Monsanto, for all practical purposes, is a governmental agency. They tell you what to do. You don't tell them what to do. Okay? That's how this country works. You might as well have a desk. Monsanto might as well have a desk, an office. They might even, who knows, at the FDA and the EPA. Right? And Goldman Sachs does have desks at the Treasury Department and the Fed. So these corporations are in fact governmental agencies in practice. Okay, let me continue. The Federal Environmental Protection Agency says the weed killer has low toxicity for humans and concluded in 2017 that it's not likely to cause cancer in humans. I love this. It's low toxicity. No, not too bad. And it's not likely to cause cancer. California disagreed and tried unsuccessfully to force the company to label the weed killer with a warning. The European Food Safety Agency does not agree with the World Health Organization. However, a recent court ruling requires the European Food Safety Agency to disclose the details of its own studies. So Monsanto, now owned by Bayer, has clearly taken over the EPA, has clearly taken over this thing called the European Food Safety Agency. Now here we go. A jury in a federal lawsuit against Bayer by a Sonoma man concluded that his non-Hodgkin's lymphoma was caused by exposure to Roundup. The Wall Street Journal reported that Tuesday. That panel will now hear evidence related to whether the company should also be held liable. The Board of Supervisors directed the Department of Public Works to coordinate with public health and other personnel to survey current use of the chemical and explore alternatives, including identifying best practices followed by other jurisdictions. A report is expected back in 30 days. So it's going to take a while for them to stop spraying. And then there's the question is what they're going to do with this stuff that they're not using. It'll probably be sold to other localities. But in any event, this is a very positive thing. LA is huge. They spray a lot of Roundup. They're hopefully going to actually stop spraying the Roundup. You know, weeds never killed anybody. And a lot of things, cold weeds, you could actually eat, like dandelions. I wouldn't recommend eating dandelions that are growing by the side of a highway, but still, they're actually weeds in name only. And maybe we could take some unfortunate people that are unemployed who would like to work and who are capable of doing physical work and send them out there to do weed management the old-fashioned way. Huh? How's that for an idea? Instead of lining Monsanto's pockets and causing an epidemic of all kinds of immune diseases. So the issue that the public's aware of right now is that Roundup could be a cancer contributor. And of course, they keep the public as ignorant as possible. And they have not gotten to the point of educating people about the possible, if not likely, connection between Roundup and other autoimmune diseases, including not just cancer, but also autism, also Alzheimer's, and possibly some of the other some neurological, some autoimmune diseases that have neurological outcomes. So good news. Thanks. Hats off to these local politicians in LA. They did the right thing. If you're in LA, you should praise them, thank them, encourage them to continue to do similar things like this. If you're in another location and you have any communication with a local official whose head isn't up his or her ass, you might clip this article. You can find it on Google, I'm sure, and send it to them and say, why don't we do this locally? And you've got LA County doing it, so nobody can say that this is some fringe activity. This is a very big, rich, well-organized group of people, and they've come to the conclusion that they are not serving their citizens by spraying Roundup in public parks and along the roadside. So good news, good news. Hats off to the LA County